Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Beaumont, the 72nd club founded in the world where our members serve to change lives. Those that are on Zoom, we ask you to please mute your microphones. And those of you here, feel free to take a moment and check in on your Rotary Facebook page. So I wanted to give you all a morning update on our president, Brad. And this is what I received today from his admin, Pam. Quote, his surgery went well, though more complicated than expected. Although it was more complicated, he is recovering ahead of schedule. He hopes to be home this week. We are appreciative of everyone's thoughts and prayers for him. That's good. Yeah. Wonderful news. So today at the head table, we have Erica Harris, CEO, Principal Consultant, Harris Consulting LLC, leading us in the invocation. We have Catherine Fuller, with a financial advisor with Edward Jones, leading us in the pledges. And I need to slow down. And Jaquetta Walker, Director of Training and Marketing with Nance International, for introduction of guests. Erica?
Please bow your heads. Oh, gracious God, as we enter into the season of Thanksgiving, we are so thankful today that you have allowed us to assemble one more time as a group with like-mindedness to do goodwill in the community. We pray that you touch us with your love and your wisdom. A special prayer for Brad. Thank you, God, so much for bringing him through surgery. We pray for a speedy recovery. And last but not least, as we leave this building today, we pray for your traveling grace. We pray that you allow us to gather once again to do your will. Amen.
Catherine?
Please join me as we say a pledge to the U.S. flag and to the Texas state flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Good afternoon. I am basically the welcoming committee. So welcome to all of our guests that are here today and the members that have brought them. I just have one thing to say real quick. Cute quote to begin with. Keeping one's guests supplied with liquor is the first law of hospitality. So I'm sure you all received your bottles of wine, or maybe not. So if you didn't, remember Rotary After Hours is tomorrow at JW's patio. And I was not asked to plug that, but I'm doing it anyway. So we do have an extensive guest list. So we'll do this a little bit differently than in the past. What I will do is I will say the Rotarian's name and then ask them to have all their guests that they have brought with them to stand up at that time. But I am going to start with acknowledgement of a visiting Rotarian. We have Derek Barber, who is with the Viter. Oh, hey, Derek. So if you need a barber, you know where to go. There's Derek. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and go through the guest list. Diane Bass has some guests. If you would please stand. Welcome. Welcome. We'll see you when you join. We now have Jay Wilson and his guest. Please stand. Welcome. We have Mr. James Broussard and his guests. We have Mr. Kevin Reed and his wife, his guest. We have Mrs. Sherry Pierce and her guests. We have Mr. Daniel Jeans and his guests. We also have Dana Timaeus and his guest. We have Terry Potter and her boss / guest. We have Mr. Pat Anderson and his guests. We have Mrs. Lynn Castle and her guests. We have Bobby Applegate, their guests. We have Miss Cynthia Wolf and her guests. And then we also have Miss Tish Cornell and her guests. Thank you for coming and thank you for bringing guests. Bring them back to join. Thank you.
Let's have another round of applause for all of our guests and for Jaquetta's stand-up comedy routine. Not to be outdone by Jaquetta, I have a guest that I would like to introduce at this time, and I'm going to ask her to come up. Her name is Nicole Gonzalez. She goes by the name of Nikki, and she is our new executive director. No pressure. No pressure.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. How is everyone doing today? Fantastic. I'm Nikki Gonzalez. I'm a transplant here to Beaumont, Texas, via way of Connecticut. So I lived and grew up in Connecticut, and I came here to Texas. I got tired of the cold. So I'm here to enjoy your guys' nice weather. I have an extensive background with executive management. I worked for a car dealership, which had 5 brands and over 400 employees that I managed for the last 5 years. I look forward to being your executive director. Don't ask me how to get anywhere. I don't know that yet. And I don't know many people. So I'm going to learn and I'm going to try. But before Jackie leaves, she says that I will know everything. She's promised me that I'll know everything. So I'm going to hold her to it. But I look forward to helping and serving you guys.
Thank you. Well, let's move on then. Dana Timaeus, Secretary, if you can come up and give us the board action, please.
Yep. Nope. Try to read and walk at the same time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Happy to report that the board approved 2 new membership proposals. One is Julie Strasburger, Director of Marketing and Sales, Bug Me Not Pest Control, LLC. She comes in classification of pest control, marketing and sales, proposed by Jay Wilson. And Carl Lambeth, owner of Safe Move SETX, classification residential and commercial moving and packaging, proposed by John Lee. 10-day objection period begins today. We have 1 classification change, Virtue Alexander. We're reclassifying her as Senior Convention Sales Manager, Beaumont Convention Visitors Bureau, Classification Convention and Visitors Bureau - Sales Manager. The board approved taking part in a project in December with the Rotary Club of Port Arthur and the 100 Black Men of Greater Beaumont to raise funds for the Empty Stocking Fund. Details to follow from someone else. The Nest Project at Martin Elementary will have a grand opening on December 9 at 9 a.m. We built the nest at Martin, or we helped build the nest at Martin. Cindy Cherry's brainchild last year, and it's our gift to Martin Elementary. We would like a good number of Rotarians to attend the ribbon cutting on the 9th. So mark it on your calendar, save the date. And I'm here to remind you that the club's annual meeting will be on December 8th. That is the meeting when we vote on the Rotarians who will join the board of directors in 2022. You must be present at the meeting, either in person or on Zoom, in order to vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dana. So we're moving on to committee announcements, and I wanted to start by asking all of the Rotarians who helped distribute show your colors flags on Veterans Day. If you could please stand so we can acknowledge you. Thank you, everybody who gave up their mornings to serve others and honor veterans. Rebecca Maxwell, if you could come up and tell us about Rotary After Hours.
Tomorrow, I want to invite you all, not just our Rotarian club members, but also any of our guests and visiting Rotarians who would like to come out. We will have our Rotary After Hours tomorrow from 5:30 to 7 at JW Patio. That's on Phelan within the shopping center if you've never been. This happy hour is a little different. We actually are hosting our Southeast Texas Young Professionals Organization as well as 40 under 40 honorees, both this year's class and past honorees. So please take a screenshot of the PowerPoint that's up so you remember tomorrow to join us at 5:30. We're excited to network with these young professionals and also share with them why we are Rotarians and proud to be involved with the Rotary Club of Beaumont. Hope to see you there.
And now we'll hear from Jacques Gagne, Chair of the Salvation Army Red Kettle Drive.
All right, well, everybody, it's time for the annual Salvation Army Red Kettle Bell Ringing Project. It's going to be the second Saturday in December. It'll be December 11th, and it'll be from 10 to 5. And we're asking for volunteers of 2 to 3 people to sign up for each hourly shift. I'll be there all day. I'll get there a little early to meet the Salvation Army to make sure we get the aprons and all that stuff. And there will be a sign-up sheet on the website. And Jackie said it would be good to go. And I'd like to ask her to put my cell phone on there just in case if someone has an issue getting to their shift or needs to be relieved. I'll stay around the property all day. So look forward to it. And they also encourage people to bring family and friends if you'd like. And any questions at all, feel free to call me, email me, or text me. Thank you.
Don't forget to sign up. Lynn Castle, holiday party.
Okay, we're gonna have an ugly sweater holiday party this year. Woohoo! It's on December the 16th. And our entertainment is going to be the Rotary Choir again, led by Dr. James Hahn, fellow Rotarian. If you're interested in being in the choir, and I know we have some new Rotarians that have beautiful voices, if you would please contact Lynn Hill, and her email is lynnhill, B as in boy, D as in dog, @gmail.com. Phone number is 409-781-3291. Thank you.
Wonderful. And for more fun, Sherry Pierce will tell us about Wind Down with Rotary.
I'm the fun chair, and I am so excited to have so many more people in here to tell about. Mark your calendars. January 27th is our wine tasting. It's wine, and you get some little snacks to have with it, but it's a great event. It's a great fundraiser. We'll have raffles and a wine pool and all kinds of cool stuff. If you are on the committee, would you please raise your hand? If you would think you might like to help out with it, please raise your hand. Rhonda? She's told me. Okay, stay after the meeting today. We're going to have our first, we had to postpone it, so we're going to have our first kind of get back together meeting. I'll see you back at one of these tables after the meeting. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, and now the moment you've all been waiting for. Mary Poole, chair of the committee. She's a marketing consultant with Baptist Hospitals of Southeast Texas, is going to lead our vocational excellence program.
Well, good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. I am so excited to be here today to introduce you to the 2021 Vocational Excellence Award winners. Today, I have the opportunity to introduce you to 12 people who have truly gone above and beyond to make Southeast Texas amazing. Today, you'll hear from someone who can talk to you about for sale and someone who can talk to you about for hire, someone who can bring you a slice and someone who can bring you some ice, someone who can keep your office in line and someone who can keep your office online, someone that can keep you on the go and someone that knows everything about Market Basket to go. You will also hear someone who can take care of your organs and someone who can take care of an organ. And last but certainly not least, someone who served us all a plate full of smiles at the Broussard's Event Center. So right now, all I want you to do is sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed as I introduce you to 12 members of the community that have made Southeast Texas a better place to live, learn, play, and pray. So it is my honor to welcome Mr. Jay Wilson to the stage, and he will bring up his first recipient, Miss Shan, who has no idea why she's even here.
Is she giving them to you, to me, to
You.
I was really nervous that she wouldn't come up on stage. She literally had no idea I wanted this to be a surprise for her, and I'm going on record. I did not break the first rule of the four-way test. Everything I said was truthful. I just didn't tell her everything. So I'd like to introduce you my coworker, Shan Howard. We all have jobs. We all had jobs if we're tired, and we're all passionate about them in some way, shape, or form. But Shan takes it to a whole nother level. As you know, we're in the staffing business, and on a very simple term, that means we find companies that need employees and we find employees that need companies. And it could be a very transactional process. Shan doesn't want to just place somebody and move on. Shan truly wants to help somebody find long-term gainful employment to support their family. She's had her own hardships in life, and she's able to connect with all of our associates and clients on a really deep level. I'd like to read a little bit of our customer care promise that we have posted in the office. Hold on, I need my glasses. We're friendly, easy to talk to. We're real people, genuinely interested in you. We're conscientious and efficient. We uphold our promises and love our work. We embrace the spirit of a servant's heart. We're caring, genuine, loyal, and supportive. We respect others, and we're passionate about helping people succeed and giving back. We're empowered by our work and energized by our mission. Shan embodies and exemplifies these like you wouldn't believe. Recently, we had a potential associate who was displaced from Hurricane Nicholas. He basically came here with his wife, his kids, and what he could fit in the car. He lost his house. He lost everything. Shan did everything she could to find somewhere for him to go to work, to put food on the table. Up to and including calling a company that didn't have a need but made a need because of Shan's persistence. So again, she is my Vocational Award Excellence winner. She is my coworker. She's also my friend. And as Mary said, she makes Southeast Texas a better place to be.
There's no crying in Rotary. Thank you, Jay. Our second recipient, David Chansey. Tish, please come introduce him to us, please. Boy, have I heard lots of things about you, mister. It's a step.
Somewhere.
Okay. So this is David Chansey, and some of you might recognize him. He is a car hop at the Sonic on 23rd.
If you don't, it's because there's a mask.
So the reason that I nominated David is that's my morning drink stop, as it is for a lot of people. You go get your Sonic water, your Sonic tea with blackberry extra ice, you know, all the different details that we have with our drinks in the morning. Yes, he knows Josh and Jim. And that's one of the things, you know, in the morning, he might be the only interaction that someone has that morning.
He might be the first smile that somebody has seen that day. You never know who you're going to encounter, and you never know how your day is going to be. But you can choose to be positive. You can choose to spread joy and spread goodness. And David is so positive. His energy is contagious. There have been mornings, there's no crying in Rotary, that I did not know how I was going to make it through the day. And sometimes just that little encouragement of come back tomorrow, bring your smile back tomorrow, have a wonderful day. His energy is so contagious and positive in a time when so many people choose differently. So I just wanted to honor him and recognize the outstanding job he does. He spreads joy throughout the day and gives everybody smiles with their morning drinks. Thank you, David.
Running away. Oh, I have things. I have pictures.
Thank you. Miss Amanda Ellis, would you come introduce us to Kevin Reed? Need some help.
This side's fine. So I'd like to present my nomination. Kevin, the running realtor. Kevin with Reed Realty Group. And my favorite, Cool Cat, Kevin. I met my friend and fellow Rotarian in Leadership Beaumont class of 2021, the best class ever. Kevin has been involved in many Rotary service projects, such as the Chair for the Nest project at Martin Elementary, Flags, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and I'm sure there are many others. Kevin serves on the Wind Down with Rotary Committee and my favorite committee, the Rotary After Hours. Outside of Rotary, Kevin is involved with the Lions Club, CRM Striders, and Beaumont Board of Realtors. He is an ambassador for the Greater Beaumont Chamber of Commerce, and you can see him every Friday morning at the Business Connection meetings. When he is not doing all this, I bet he is at home taste testing his wife's sweet peas delicious cakes. Please join me in congratulating Rotarian Kevin Reed on this nomination.
Thanks, sweet pea.
Thank you. Next, would I please welcome Mr. Pat Anderson as he introduces to Misty Matthews.
Do we need to help you up?
Get the mic. Okay. Good to see everybody here today. I'm nominating Misty Matthews with Classic Chevrolet in Beaumont off East Texas Freeway. And she surely demonstrates service above self, is what it's all about. And all that she does for many people that come in for service at Classic Chevrolet. She has to deal with people who need routine service and people who have car troubles, and they can be hard to deal with. Y'all might have been there one time anyway. But thanks to Misty. For me, I started dealing with her back in 2003. I believe it when I bought my first Honda, Twin City, which is Classic Chevrolet Company too. She was always courteous, and she kept you informed of the service you were getting done to your car and what may also be needed, and gave me the best option, making it more cost effective. She later moved over to Classic Chevrolet in Beaumont, where she serves as the service drive manager, continuously does an excellent job there also. There, she also helped me with many times with what I think I need for my vehicle and for my regular service needs. She is prompt to call you and let you know the problem and what is best way to resolve the issue. I don't need that. It's okay. I got some notes on the back. Hey. Y'all know me. Anyway, her exceptional service, honesty, and friendliness is performing her job goes beyond what you expect. Thankful to have someone who I can trust to make sure my vehicle is serviced correctly, and I can drive down the road knowing my vehicle will carry me wherever I need to go and safely. And I also had a problem on the weekend, and that was a mistake. I got her cell number with my car not allowing to start. You know, she's off on the weekend, but I managed to get a hold of her, and she told me what I needed to do to get the car fixed. So I'll bring her here because I've known her a long time, and know everybody knows it takes a lot to get your cars going. A lot of things happen and whatever. And who do you trust anymore? And Misty is one you can trust, and she's still there. So if y'all deal with Classic, or you hadn't been dealing with Classic, you need to. And her boss is here too over there. So congratulations, Misty. Wait a minute. And on another note, I've got something in the back show that it's her birthday. It's her birthday today. I got a little cupcake back there. It's the best I could do. I couldn't find the candles, so y'all wish her a happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, Misty, for all you do. Next, we welcome to the stage Miss Cynthia Wolf. She will be making 2 presentations today because her handsome husband, Michael, is not able to make it today as he's recovering. So Cynthia, come up here and tell us about Miss Katina Musgrove Jackson. Cynthia, you want to stand down here?
Thank you for concern.
Look, she's not the only one.
Well, first of all, Michael is here today. He's on the screen somewhere. So in all of the weeks that Michael has been recovering from his medical procedure, he has not missed a Rotary meeting. Therefore, he does continue to have perfect attendance. And I salute him for all of the hard work that he's been doing in order to get this far. He would love to be here today, but it's just not the right time. And speaking of not the right time, this particular award was supposed to have been given in 2020. So I'm going to read exactly what was written. If you can come near me, at least I can have you close by. I'm going to read exactly what was written for Katina and also for Dr. Thomas, each in their turn. Michael and I both nominate you, Katina, and her full name is Katina Musgrove Jackson. She was the nurse, the main nurse of Dr. George Thomas at Beaumont Internal Geriatric and Medical Associates. She is so deserving of being honored at the 2020, now 2021 Vocational Excellence Award ceremony. Katina consistently, during her time with Dr. Thomas, provided selfless service above self, with her exceptional service, honesty, and friendliness. This is information that we obtained from Dr. Thomas. Dr. Thomas says this of Katina, and I know Rotarians are not supposed to cry, but give me the exception if necessary. She is compassionate, soft-talking, caring, and doesn't rush anyone. She takes her time, whatever it takes, with everyone. She even works overtime to get the job done. And you can take whatever she does to the bank. She's just that good. She works nights and on weekends to complete whatever she did not get done at work. She's just that caring. Dr. Thomas shared that Katina and Lonnie live in Port Neches, just blocks away from the TPC group that exploded on November 27, 2019. While Katina was dealing with damages to her home, her mother Shirley, who lives in Lake Charles, fell. And Katina, with all the compassion that she has for patients, also became her mother's caregiver, traveling back and forth, never complaining, and still made time to get her work done. Here are 3 examples of Katina's service above self as experienced by both Michael and me. Almost a year ago, now it's a little bit longer, Katina, I had issues with what at that time, after months of trying, seemed to be the impossibility of losing weight. Katina and I had an unscheduled heart-to-heart girl talk. It was hallway conversation. Katina was between patients, and I was soon to be seen by Dr. Thomas. Katina did not hesitate to just stop what she was doing to help me. She gave me her time, listened, shared her compassion. That's just what she is always doing, not just this time. The honest sharing of frustrations and some tears led to sound advice followed by smiles. That and Katina's encouragement made all the difference. On a Friday, I woke up with laryngitis and knew that I had to call Dr. Thomas's office. With all that was going on with the new C virus and already being overly concerned about germs, I did not hesitate to dial Dr. Thomas's office and Katina's extension. Dialing was the easiest part. What was hard was making every effort that I could to leave a message that Katina could understand. I communicated as best I could by leaving a voice message on Katina's extension. Within an hour, Katina returned my call and provided step by step the best protocol to follow over the weekend, and Katina's advice worked. On any given day that Michael feels like something is going on with his body that requires that he be seen ASAP by Dr. Thomas, he reaches out to Katina, leaving a voice message at her extension and writing a message on the patient portal. According to Michael, Katina's responses back to me each time make it possible for me to be seen that day or the next day, usually by Dr. Thomas, but if not, by the nurse practitioner, and at the best time for my business schedule. Katina is the best gatekeeper to know. She always makes those visits possible. I've created a report card for Katina. A plus to exceptional service with her quick responses when patients reach out. A plus to honesty with the advice that she shares with her patients. A plus to friendliness with the kind, sweet manner that she listens to her patients. There's just something exceptional about Katina. It's in her face, in her eyes. They just show that she is listening and she hears what patients are saying. She cares, she has empathy, and she knows how to put patients at ease. And for all of these statements that have been made, both by me with Michael's assistant and by Dr. Thomas, we honor you today, Katina. So welcome. All this.
Mr. Sedell, I need you to smile for him.
As I said, this is not how we planned it. Sorry, we got all turned around here. This is not how we planned it because Katina knew behind his back that George was going to be honored also. And his sister Marilyn was the only person in his family who knew. No one let any cat out of the bag. Unfortunately, we lost Dr. Thomas by the big C virus and not the one that was here first. COVID took him and took the best doctor ever. But I need to stick to the script because I want to make certain, Kathy, that I do what I need to do. I would like you to join me if you feel up to it. You'll stay there. Okay. Well, we'll come down there when it's time to present. Okay. And again, Michael and I together make this nomination to Dr. George Thomas in memoriam, who was the senior partner at Beaumont Internal Geriatric and Medical Associates, to receive the 2020, now the 2021 Vocational Excellence Award. At the time, and even more so now, the nomination is long overdue. For 35 years, Dr. Thomas was our internist. And over the history of doctor-patient care, he consistently provided service above self with his exceptional service, honesty, and friendliness. Dr. Thomas was our caring, compassionate, hardworking, thorough physician. He saw us when we needed to be seen, which is every 3 months or if needed in between. He told us when we were doing good, and he told us what he needed to tell us to get our attention. He was a person that we considered a friend, and it is especially nice to feel comfortable in his presence. And I feel his presence right now, whether in the office or when we see him out and about. I should say when we saw him out and about. Dr. Thomas was a doctor for almost 49 years. In 1971, he graduated with honors from the University of Texas Medical Branch School at Medicine in Galveston. He then interned and completed his residency at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, where he became chief resident. My father had graduated from UT Galveston, my brother from Baylor Houston. So what's not to like about the medical pedigree of Dr. George Thomas? Over the years, Dr. Thomas's specialization were exactly what we needed. At first, we needed a doctor who was board certified in internal medicine. That was successful. Then we crossed over to the always changing symptoms associated with AGE. So our needs were continuing to be taken care of by Dr. Thomas's expertise, because he was also board certified in geriatric medicine. We know how old Dr. Thomas was, as he celebrated his milestone birthdays just before Michael and 1 year before me. We are therefore stair-stepped in experiencing symptoms associated with AGE. As an aside, Michael and I experienced parenting first. So George helped us with AGE, and we helped him with his having a daughter away from home at the University of Arkansas. We know exactly how much he worried about her and how much he worshiped her. Speaking of his daughter, Dr. Thomas and wife Kathy have one daughter, Maris, as in Roger Maris. You get the picture. Just knowing that's the name given to Maris, you will understand, even without knowing Dr. Thomas or his daughter, just how passionate George is about baseball. He loved it, especially the Houston Astros. He used to have season tickets for the games. He then decided to enjoy watching at home and avoid all that driving in the Houston traffic. So we know George. We did know George as the person, and he knew us. Dr. Thomas would have celebrated his 50th year as a doctor on June of 2021, but during probably 35 of his almost 49 years of diverse experiences with patients, we have given him many. But we are HIPAA protected from revealing any of our constantly monitored issues. What we can share is that we appreciate all the time that Dr. Thomas had taken with both of us when we had come for appointments. He always wanted to know what's going on. So from the lay described symptoms, He knew which test or series of tests to order. He wanted answers. He was always expressing the concern of a friend and making certain that whatever we are ailing from is remedied by him, or he sent us to wherever we needed to go to be put back into good health. Our best as it gets with symptomatic of AGE, we three had that in common. George worked hard all week, so he and Kathy retreated to Galveston to unwind, to enjoy some wine, maybe to fish a little, just to relax. And that's a good thing, for we wanted Dr. George Thomas rested and at his best when we were scheduled in advance or not. We relied on him to get all better. We can say the same thing about Dr. Thomas that he said about Katina when he thought that she was the only one being honored. And I quote, but changing the words, he is compassionate, soft-talking, caring, and doesn't rush anyone. And for all these reasons, Kathy, and so much more, Michael and I felt it was mandatory to honor Dr. Thomas. We loved him as a person. We appreciated him as a doctor. And we know that during these last few weeks that Michael has been ill, that Dr. Thomas would have been there at our side, getting us through. There were many times, as I told you before, that we did call upon his name and his advice, even though he was not with us. So for all these things, we are going to honor Dr. Thomas in absentia, in memoria, and I will bring down the certificate to you, unless you feel like you can walk up here now. Yeah, come up here. Sorry I took so long. I'm not the one to help. I definitely am not the one. I'm going to give this to you after you go down.
Dana Tamaeus, would you please come down and introduce us to Kobe Tristan? No crying in Rotary.
This is not a sad thing. This is a good thing. So once upon a time, about September 19, 2019, Imelda hit and my office flooded and I couldn't get into it. So the next day I finally get into this office and my computers are wet. And I got a bunch of jerk lawyers in Houston who think they can win a case in a day because I'm down. So I call my computer guy, owner of Wave Computers, and he says, well, my house is flooded and I got 3 family members whose houses are flooded and I'm down too, but I'll send you Colby. And I said, okay, who's Colby? He said, I'll send you Colby, it'll be okay. Okay. So I'm sitting in the office. I got all this mess hitting my phone. I can't do anything about it. These guys are really tearing me up and they're putting me at a disadvantage. They're putting my client at a real disadvantage and taking, vicious advantage of the situation. Colby, on the other hand, is trying to figure out how to get around town in his little car. He finally makes it into the Wave Computers office. Now they build their own computers. So he's got shells of computers, don't want to be too technical, and components of computers, and he packs them all in the back end of his car. And sure enough, within an hour after I talked to Brandon, the guy who owns the Wave, in comes Colby. And I'm sitting there on wet carpet, and we're trying to figure out what to do. And Colby says, where's the computer? And it's there under the water. And Colby takes a computer, puts it up on the table and starts taking things apart, pulling stuff out of his car. And literally within an hour and a half after he got there, I had a working server, a networked system that went to a printer and scanner that worked, and Wi-Fi. And I was back up and running. And I was hitting those guys back. And it worked. But it worked because Colby showed up with the stuff he needed capable of doing what he can do anywhere he goes. And with an hour and a half, I had basically a working computer network that I could go back to fight with as if they never knew I went down, except that I was a little bit delayed in getting back to them. All of that's possible because this guy is incredibly skilled, and he's quick, and he shows up, and he gets the job done. So I'm here to honor Colby Tristan.
Thank you. Sherry Pierce, would you join me on the stage? And don't forget to bring Matthew Bloodsworth with you. Come on, Matthew. Everybody knows Matthew. For those of you who don't know, this is Miss Bloodworth, Jean's son. Come on, Matthew. Good grief.
Very well done. Like choreographed.
It is my honor to introduce you to Matthew Bloodsworth, and you probably already know where he belongs, the St. niece. Matthew, it is reported by his employers, he holds down 2 jobs, and it is reported by his employers that he never misses a day. His mother says she has to force him to take family vacations to be away from his work. They have never heard, "It's not my job," or "That's not in my job description," from him. And I have witnessed that. And when I have seen him just do whatever needs to be done. Well, you think that's just good work ethic. That's a high work ethic. And it is, but it's a service above self when it comes to Matthew, because Matthew is a man who lives with Down syndrome. And he puts himself out there in the public every day. And that is a service above self, because sometimes the public is not always understanding or kind. And so his whole life is a service above self. And let me just say this, the first time I ever met Matthew, the first time I ever saw him, I don't know if I met him that night, it was at a Champagne and Ribs event. And it was way back when they used to have it still at Cowboy Harley. And Matthew was in the street dancing, in the parking lot, dancing with his mother with the beer in his hand. But not only does he serve by being an example, Matthew has been active in the ARC. And if you don't know what the ARC is, the ARC of Greater Beaumont, look that up and you will be amazed and impressed. He works with them with their self-advocate group, which advocates for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Matthew has spoken to the city council, to the county, city court, county court, what did I say? Commissioner's court. I don't even know it. I don't know anybody on the commissioner's court, but he has spoken in Austin. I can't ever remember. He has spoken in Austin, and he has spoken in Washington, D.C. on behalf of people with all kinds of disabilities. And I see him as doing this for a very long time. And that's why it is my pleasure to honor him as someone who lives a life of service above self. And I am proud to know you, Matthew.
Congratulations. Miss Diane Bass, we are dying to meet Ms. Vaughn Plager.
Look at you. Look at this, man. Wowzer.
Give that to you right there. Okay, she's not used to taking orders from me, but she's going to today. Oh my goodness, I've known Vaughn a long time, and I am just thrilled to death that we're able to honor her today. She's a dedicated, humble, and competent employee in her role as assistant to the executive director of the House Center. I've known her for years. I continue to be impressed with her abilities and her compassion. She is truly the heart of the House Center, which is a sober living center for men who want to change their lives and become what they were intended to be. She manages everything in the office. Her boss is sitting over here, and I asked permission for her to be here today, and he gave her the lunch off. Yes, which things don't run very well when she's not there. She does everything with smile and with enthusiasm. She helps the men at the center do everything that they need in order to begin their lives independently, with dignity and with honor. So anything from getting a driver's license to handling court dates to getting a job, getting to and from those jobs. She manages fundraisers. She manages the bookkeeping, all of those things that are required to keep that place running. And she manages Dan. I've seen that personally. Her philosophy is to provide the means to a way of life that fosters dignity and respect. And it is absolutely my pleasure to honor this woman.
Thank you.
Miss Bobby Applegate, we are dying to meet Jennifer Carrion.
Oh, yeah, I need that. Thank you. Well, this is the second time I've nominated Jennifer Carrion for this award. And actually, it was the pandemic interrupted that award procedure. But I wanted to recognize her. And I think a lot of people in the club might recognize Jennifer. If you were in the club, I can't remember which storm it was, Harvey or Milda. My memory seems to have lost something in the last several years. But we were at Broussard's Event Center, and Two Magnolias did the catering. And so every week Jennifer was there with a smile on her face, a pleasant way to say hello to everybody, and the food was great. We enjoyed very much, even though we were in quite a small space. We always enjoyed dinner with Jennifer. And I don't know if Debbie Maxwell is in the audience today, but Debbie was her cohort in that endeavor. So at Rotary, when we did wine down with Rotary, Sherry, I'm going to give you a commercial. Two Magnolias, we started working with them to do the food. And it was such a pleasure to work with somebody who can do two things at one time. It really is. I don't know if you cherish that possibility, but it's a great thing. Jennifer can do more than two things at a time. She managed to get through the crowd and get to the food, make sure the food was in place, make sure the food was appropriate, that it was pretty, and that people really were enjoying everything they saw. You know, I should be able to memorize this, but I haven't been able to. I just want to tell you that she now works for the Art Museum, and Lynn Castle is one of her bosses, but she still is going to be working for Two Magnolias. So we will have her again doing Wine Down Rotary, Sherry. I just want to make you a little more comfortable with that. But it's just such a pleasure to introduce to you as a real person, Jennifer Carrion, who is just a pleasant employee who just works so hard, and she's so efficient. And you just have to love her. She's just a great person. I'm glad she's here.
Picture. Look at Mr. Sedella. Mr. James Broussard. Now's the time to introduce us to Jimmy Champagne. Y'all want to stand right here?
You want to just stand on the ground?
I'm not sure I can pull you up. You know, I have hip replacements myself, so.
You gonna jump up here?
Woohoo, there we go. That deserves a round of applause in itself.
Okay, microphone.
Well, that's half the battle. You know, if there was one good thing came out of Hurricane Harvey, it was responsible for sending Jimmy to our favorite Market Basket store. And it's not been the same since he's been there, and we've really enjoyed it. First, Jimmy is a longtime Port Neches Grove Indian, and he sent sent 3 daughters to Texas A&M. Right. Just an overall good guy. He's friendly and he's so professional in his work. He makes everyone feel welcome when they come in. And it's surprising to me how many people he does know and call by name as they come in the door. He must walk 10 miles a day. He just, if you ask him where something is, if you ask him where something is, he doesn't say, "I'll go over there." He'll take you over there, or he'll go get it. And he just has a work ethic that you would not believe. And he's instilled his enthusiasm in his employees. In fact, a couple of years ago, one of his employees was honored with this award right here. Yes. Caitlin?
Caitlin.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so he keeps a immaculate store. You might even catch him out in the parking lot picking up things. And he just wants to make it a welcoming place. And last but not least, there's a bunch of old guys that have been drinking coffee there for years, literally years. And when the upper management decided they would close the coffee bar in the afternoon, Jimmy said, "If you all come, I will personally make you coffee," which he does, and we appreciate it very much.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Good. And we hope that he continues to stay there, and Mr. Thompson, that you keep him there. And we do appreciate everything that you do for us and our neighbors in Beaumont.
Thank you, Mr. Broussard. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Skip off the back of that.
Let's post for a picture.
Okay, all right.
Look at Mr. Sedella right there. All right, and last but certainly not least, Miss Lynn Castle, please introduce us to Thomas Ashworth.
I'm recognizing Thomas Ashworth, who is the project planner for the city of Beaumont. Thomas does much more than his position title. Equal to an art collection, Thomas is prized as one of the greatest assets and advocates of the Art Museum of Southeast Texas. Let me back up a little bit. The Art Museum building is owned by the city of Beaumont. The Art Museum organization leases the building from the city of Beaumont. So among many other responsibilities, Thomas is the point person from the city who makes certain the building is in tip-top working order. But he also goes the extra mile. He makes sure the museum facility is in tip-top shape. He treats the art museum like a child that needs constant care and nurturing, which it does. He also intercedes on our behalf to make sure that repairs are made with little or no cost to AMSET. That's a really big deal for us. Some of the things that he has done for us include changing out all the lighting from fluorescent to incandescent lights and energy efficient LEDs. And he plans to replace all the ceiling tiles, right, Thomas? Throughout the museum. He's done about half of them already to replace where it had leaked at one point. And he also is replacing the fire suppression system in the kitchen, which is really important, and keeps all the fire extinguishers up to date. He is very creative and talented in so many ways. And in my profession, you truly respect creativity. For example, he and his father do plaster restoration, which is a very specialized skill. Have you ever seen that on this old house? It's really cool. Like the old houses that have the plaster on the crown molding and so on. he can go in and repair that. So he does that. He's also interested in forming a pipe organ society and promoting area organ concerts. He stays very busy. Besides all that, he's just a really good person, and I am very lucky to call him my friend and colleague. Thank you, Thomas. Oh, here.
Okay, everybody. Thank you, Mary, so much for coordinating this program. It has been wonderful, inspirational, great to see the amazing people in our community. And I'm going to fly through the ending here because I know that we're late and we need to get back to work. Remember not to come here next Wednesday, because next Wednesday you should be at home getting ready for Thanksgiving. So we'll be back here in 2 weeks. And I want to thank all the people who brought guests, everybody who is here. And let's stand and say the four-way test of the things that we think, say, and do. First, the truth. Second. Third. And fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned. Have a great week, everybody, and serve to change lives.